Hi everyone, Julia here recording this August 8th, 2024, 888. Should be a lucky day. And at the request of Jill, one of my lovely friends, I'm going to summarize off the top of my head here causism and how the Mace Energy Method works. So basically it starts with the premise that not only are we spirit, mind, and body, mind, and spirit, more commonly how it's said, we also have a fourth component to our person, which is identities. And we are ultimately spiritual energy beings. And we are not solid objects. And in order to navigate in this seemingly physical realm, we need the body and we need the mind, but not for what you think we use the mind for. And we also need these identities to enable us to navigate this seemingly physical realm. Now, identities are what allow us to walk, to drive, to be wives and moms and husbands and siblings and engineers and nannies and whatever. And we create these identities to play these various roles because as energy, we're not capable of doing that. We have to create identities to do that for us. And so that's what we do. We create all these positive identities. But what happens is in moments of upsets, we make snap decisions about ourselves, negative decisions. Like, say for instance, you're dropped on your head, and even though you might not be consciously aware of it, especially if it was intentional, you'll make some negative decision about yourself as you go through the worst moment of that traumatic event. Like, I'm stupid or something, or I'm not worthy. So we all know that a lot of us have those judgments about ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'll never have this. All these negative things that we say about ourselves. And those all stem from upsets and making snap decisions in moments of upsets, and the worst moment of upsets. Now, just like when you're hungry or thirsty, you make a snap decision to eat or drink. In a moment of upset, as part of your survival instinct, you make a snap decision. The law of the universe is to survive. And so we have to make these snap decisions, just like we have to make a snap decision to eat or drink when we're thirsty or hungry to enable us to survive. Same thing happens. We're in that worst moment of an upset. We make this snap decision. And because we're not focused on what's going on out there, we've turned in on ourselves. We make the decision about ourselves, not what's happening, not the circumstance that's causing the trauma. And so that's how we end up with all these different types of, here's where the wild boars have been digging up, judgments that we have about ourselves, like I'm not good enough, that lead to depression and anxiety and even more serious so-called mental illnesses. They all stem from trauma. And one thing that's trauma to one person might not be traumatic to another person. So it doesn't really matter what the incident was and how minor it might seem to some and how major it might seem to others. If it caused a trauma response in the person, then they've probably created a negative identity or a negative judgment about themselves. And it leads to all these negative feelings that we have. So, and we all know that eating and drinking is crucial for our survival unless we're a breatharian. But it's even more crucial for us to protect our spiritual essence. And that's why we make those snap decisions in worst moments of upsets. So when we make that first early decision, which a lot of us made early in life, that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, different metaphors we use to describe that feeling, we carry that with us. And then every time we get upset, we go back to that feeling because we've been resisting that feeling. We don't like that feeling, that sad feeling that goes with I'm not good enough. So we resist it. And what you resist persists. So it builds up this energy ridge. And that leads to a negative identity. And so every time you're upset, you trigger this identity and it strengthens. And often more identities get created in upsets. Now I'm not worthy, I'm stupid, I'll never be this, I'll never have that, etc., etc. So what Mace Energy Method does is we work with our spirit essence primarily, and we locate or ruin that very first negative emotion and negative decision that we came to about ourselves that's led to many other negative identities. So we have the client recall an upsetting event to locate this ruin. Now what's interesting is it doesn't matter if that was the initial event that caused that negative identity. Because in the energy universe, there is no time. And according to John Mace's model, we have an energy universe, we have the material collective universe, and then we have our own universe, our perspective. So basically it's like the higher self, and then this realm that we're in, this world, and then our own perspective about things and our own outlook. So in the energy universe, everything is simultaneous. There is no time. So we can retrieve that ruin, that initial negative identity that was created unknowingly by you, by going to any upset that your spirit will consider as you're going through the process. So another big discovery in causism is that the mind is not what most of us consider it to be. The mind's only job is to create a mental image of whatever you have your attention on. Just like if I ask you to think about an apple with your eyes closed, you'll see an apple. If I ask you to think about a dog, you'll see a dog, and you can describe it. And then your mind will also create images when you really feel a feeling with your eyes closed, or you consider a concept. Like if I say think about love and you close your eyes, you'll see something. If I say think about success, you close your eyes, you'll see something. So that's what the mind does. It makes a mental picture of whatever you have your attention on. It doesn't think, it doesn't evaluate. You, the spirit, your being, does all that. The mind just makes a mental image of whatever you have your attention on. And what we tell our clients is to prove that to you. I want you to keep saying to yourself, don't think of an elephant. Don't think of an elephant. And what are you looking at? Right. So, there you go. So, causism, Mace Energy Method, uses that ability of the mind along with your spiritual being component, which is really who you really are. And we locate the ruin. The mind makes an image, which makes something that was intangible tangible now. This image responds in a certain manner that was discovered by John Mace and John Avery. And you can see in my Mace Energy Method playlist how that works. It's the very first 2 videos, the interview with John Mace. And so yeah, we use that process to discreate these negative identities, because once you've made it into something tangible, it can be handled and eliminated. So yeah, it's really amazing. It's been around for 28 years now, but it's just now taken off. And yeah, it's pretty exciting and pretty simple. And you don't have to relive any trauma. You do have to go back to one upsetting event and feel the emotions of it for a couple of minutes max to help identify the ruin, but you don't need to discuss any details of any trauma that you've been through. And so oftentimes, if it's really traumatic, we don't remember the details anyway. So yeah, and then Mace Energy Method also goes on to work with your relationships, because relationships are really important in our life, and how our relationships are affects our well-being. And we know we can't change other people, but we don't have to be affected by them. So Mace Energy Method has a procedure known as relationship repair, and we go through and we find all these negative identities that we've created about certain types of people, say narcissists or evil, just different types of people. And we just create the identity that's responding or reacting negatively to those personality types. So we get the client to the point to where they respond rather than react to how other people behave. And then Mace Energy Method can also work on health issues and on, because so many things are energetic initially and then they move to the physical. So yeah, I think that explains the gist of how Mace Energy Method works. And there you go. If anybody's interested in having a session, get in touch. I offer like a sliding scale if you can't afford the standard fee. So don't hesitate. If you think this is something you'd like to try, well then get in touch. My details are in the description. And thanks, Jill, for requesting this information. And I hope this helps. Let me know. Y'all have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Remember, stay focused on what you want. Help others if you can. Ciao, ciao.